Good morning, Bucknutters. It's Thursday, July 2nd, 2016. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5. I'll be a few ticks late, but it's still the morning. And be it Thursday, we are joined as always by Steve Wiltfong, Director of Recruiting for 24/7 Sports. Steve, you're about to head out on the road, have a little breakfast with the fam this morning, feeling rested and relaxed for the BM5, I'm sure.
Good morning, Dan. Yeah, it was got a good bite to eat. About to be on the airplane quite a bit this month, so just trying to sneak in some good family time. How's everyone doing?
I think they're doing well. Of course, it's gray in the Gem City, but I digress. I guess since this is Bucknuts and we must provide an update, Kellen Mond-Tate Martell, quarterback recruiting 2017. Let's start it off with just a quick newsy update on where we stand here.
Well, Kellen Mond, the nation's number 4 dual-threat quarterback for the 24/7 Sports Composite, as everyone knows, decommitted from Baylor yesterday, which was a long time coming. I think that Auburn, Ohio State, and Texas A&M are in the mix. Auburn's a 24/7 Sports crystal ball favorite, holding 80% of the 15 predictions. I still feel good about my crystal ball forecast in favor of the Buckeyes for Tate Martell, the nation's number 1 dual-threat quarterback for 24/7 Sports out of Las Vegas, Bishop Gorman. The Buckeyes have a narrow lead on the 24/7 Sports crystal ball there. But right now, I still think Tate Martell is going to be the quarterback for Ohio State in this class. I don't think he's going to rush, so could Kellen Mond beat him in the boat? Sure. Has Ohio State beaten the crystal ball before on a high-profile recruit? Yes. So I do not have a prediction in for Kellen Mond. I'm not living around that one. I think that he likes Ohio State, but the buzz is with Auburn.
Speaking of Kellen Mond, this is a little bit of a digression. Did you see that all the 7 guys have asked out of their national letter of intent and Baylor is stonewalling them? Do you think they'll get out of it?
Well, yeah. I mean, so there's Eddie Vanderdoss got out of his from Notre Dame, and kids have gotten out of it before. You know, do I think that they'll get out of it? I haven't read up enough on it. Sorry, I'm not bringing the heat just yet, but I think that they'll have a chance to. You know, if you look at some other situations where some other guys have been able to get out of it, you know, but do I think they should be allowed to get out of it? I'm for less government, but I understand why there's letter of intent rules. They make sense to me. You know, so I don't even know where I stand on that. I guess I'm good either way. You know, if Baylor just set, you know, if Baylor makes them come, it's not, you know, all right, they're still going to get a chance to play on a great football team because Baylor should be pretty good this year for a program that I think their fans are going to rally around and play in the Big 12. So it's not like if they're forced to go to Baylor that their life is over, you know. And the rest of the coaching staff is going to be there. The rest of the coaching staff is going to be there, right? I thought I read that Coach Grove's keeping everybody. So it's the only, so Art Briles is out. I honestly think people just like to rethink things and be part of the process again, you know, or people love to change their minds, which is fine, but this time you may have to live with Baylor, which is good. You know, I understand that there's some heat on the program right now, but go to Baylor.
Yeah, I think from a PR perspective, Baylor's going to cave, but we shall see. I would come down on the other side of that. Here's an interesting question. We've been talking about Jackson Carman, obviously standout offensive lineman from Ohio, Fairfield High, class 2018. He's starting to get mentioned in the same stratosphere as Josh Myers. Even Bill Kerlick alluded to that. Part of this is the reason this is becoming even more interesting is Michigan's hosting a satellite camp at his high school. But Greg Stradawa is going to actually be working the camp. So it's just a very bizarre, Harbaugian soap opera crap. But Where do you put Jackson Carman kind of in the pantheon of offensive linemen you've seen? Maybe they're in high school right now and kind of over the last decade. Is he, once in a generation talent like Myers, except they're in the same generation?
Well, I don't know if Myers is, we love Myers. He's our number one offensive tackle in the country, and he's like number 3 or 4 overall on 24/7 Sports, but he doesn't have the franchise label that like Cyrus Kuandizio had coming out and went with Alabama out of DeMatha High. He's not ranked as high as him. Jackson Carman is the number 2 offensive tackle in the country right now per 24/7 Sports behind Bray Walker, who's out of Oklahoma and committed to the Sooners, who's 6'7", 299. Carman listed at 6'6", 290, but it's obvious, and we have Carman amongst the top 20 players. He's going to be a 5-star. I got no doubt there. Moves well, great length, great feet, runs well. Pretty much checks every box for a franchise left tackle type player, and a guy that's a no-brainer. And I think he'll end up at Ohio State, unless a school that we're not talking about now blows him away. I don't think, Michigan's in the top 2, but they trail right now, and he's been there. And maybe a school we're not talking about could come in and rally, but right now I feel good about Ohio State. I'm not sure that'll change.
Yeah, I don't expect it to change, despite the drama. If you listen to him talk, he seems to have a very clear vision of what is going on.
Sure. He's very appreciative.
Yeah.
He's very appreciative, and I think he genuinely likes these other schools. I know he had a great time at Michigan. I know he had a great time at Michigan State, but he's been to Ohio State more than any other place, and typically if you follow the visits, you're going to be right. He's going to be perfect in Ohio State's offense because he can run, you can play fast with him. He's just terrific. When he kind of came on the scene, college coaches that I talked to, before he, had just 1, 2, 3 offers, we're just talking about how special he was. And now he's got the offer list to prove it.
The state of Ohio has a nice little run here with the tackles. And even the offensive linemen, the 2 that went to Notre Dame, were really highly regarded for the Huff Myers. So it's very impressive. Hopefully the state will continue to produce such talent. All right, very interesting discussion we had on the front row. This is the off season, so we get some different topics going on here. Every college football discussion, I guess, tangentially relates to recruiting. There was an argument, spurred by Colin Cowherd saying on Fox Sports Radio that he believed Urban Meyer is a better coach than Nick Saban, and he cited the bowl record. That is in the mix for, it's like the Emmett and Barry argument in a bar right now. So what's more interesting, I think, is who's number 3, in your opinion?
Well, first, Coward said that, and he gets to say it, and then other people are talking about him for saying it. So I understand.
That's the media these days, bro. You know that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a number. So who's 3? It's just like you're splitting hairs between 1 and 2. You split hairs at 3. You got, Mark D'Antonio, Bob Stoops, Gary Patterson. I would put you can make David Shaw, Jimbo Fisher. Those are all guys that I think are really good coaches. That
Jim Harbaugh.
Say. Well, I think Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. If you were like, I almost put Jim Harbaugh in a different category with like he would be in like that Pete Carroll category where he's done both. I don't know. He's like in his own division right now because he hasn't done it. I take that back. You're right. He's in that argument too with what he did at Stanford and now what I think, 1 year at Michigan. I'm fine with him being in that group, that next group there with all those other guys I mentioned. There's no doubt he's a good coach. Hell, he goes to the 49ers and with the same roster that they went 4-12 with the year before is 1 game away from the Super Bowl. He's a leader of men. Say what you want. So, he's certainly there. And really, the thing that separates.
So who are you giving the bronze to? Who gets the bronze?
I give the bronze to Bob Stoops.
Interesting.
I mean, he's got rings. He's got rings. He's got a crystal ball, or he's got 2 crystal balls. He consistently wins double-digit games. I mean, he's won 11 games 12 times, 11 or more 12 times in 16 years. That's pretty damn good, right? So
yeah.
So I'd go Bob Stoops 3, but if someone argues with me, I'm not like fighting to the death on it. I just think, it means something to win that much every year, and he's won a championship, and they're going to be in the hunt for a title this year with what they come back. How about that first game of the year with the Buckeyes and the Sooners? That's going to be must-see TV. With Urban Meyer, the thing that separates Urban Meyer and Nick Saban is the fact that they recruit better than everybody, which certainly is part of the college football landscape. That counts. When you're talking college football coaching, getting Jims and Joes is even more important than schematics. So if you're the best at getting the Jims and Joes, if you're the best at evaluating who they are, and then you're the best at developing them, you don't even have to be the best schematic coach. I'm not saying, and these guys obviously are really good coaches too, but you can be an average schematic coach in college football, but if you are really good at player development, and making sure you get the right guys on your roster, you're going to win a ton of games. The NFL, you got to be a good coach. College, there's other things that are just as important as getting that game plan ready.
Well, no question. If you look at the talent level on NFL teams, team for team, the gap between the first team and the 32nd team is probably decent. But if you look at the talent level besides, between, for example, Ohio State and Purdue, it's light years. So there's no NFL team that goes into every single game favored or is favored against every, like Ohio State was and such like that. So it's a very interesting argument. I have to say who's the third best coach? Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. It becomes interesting because I think if you're deciding just on the whole, it might be a different answer for me. For example, if I was picking for Ohio State, third best coach right now, I think I would have to go with D'Antonio. I don't think the only question I would have was could he recruit at a level that Ohio State does, and my thing is I don't think anybody can recruit like Meyer and Saban, so I would go with the guy I think that could recruit well and then develop talent like a mug.
If Mark D'Antonio was at Ohio State, I think that he could easily recruit at the level that Tressel did and have that keen eye for talent, and he would win a championship. I mean, he's at a place still where they've made Michigan State seem sexy, but it's still not that sexy on the recruiting trail. I mean, they have to bust their ass to find kids and find gems. And yeah, they can win a battle here or there for Donnie Corley, but those are still few and far between. I mean, and that was an in-state kid. If Donnie Corley wasn't from Michigan, they don't get him. I mean, they got Josh King, they got Austin, so they can win some like that, but their roster still is made up of guys that were maybe not recruited heavily by the Ohio States and Alabamas of the world. So if you put D'Antonio at one of those places, he'd crush it because he's involved as a recruiter. He's a good guy. I mean, all their things that they've done at Michigan State to upgrade the facilities and things, he's had a hand in it with the vision towards recruiting. So he gets it. It's just Urban Meyer and Nick Saban have done a great job of creating, their persona too. That's part of it. They're lightning rods. They're rock stars. They're the only two household names in college football with Jim Harbaugh. There's three, and Jim Harbaugh that's what Jim Harbaugh's doing all these satellite camps. Every day he's in the news, and he's definitely in the recruiting news. So. That not every kid in the country, believe it or not, knows who Mark Richt is or knows who Mark D'Antonio is, and that's funny to us. But every recruit, if Urban Meyer that's Urban Meyer calling, they don't have to say who is he?
Right.
Oh, that's right. Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban, those guys are Those guys are household names. And the other guys are known by a lot of guys, but hey, there's a couple cats that don't know who they are.
What really helped that also, and I'll end it on this, was Meyer being front and center in the green room at the NFL draft with about 25 dudes. So, like I said, every single guy Ohio State recruits thinks they're going to the NFL. So, if you look at the quotes, Charles talked about, you get to Ohio State, you got a shot. So, we appreciate Steve coming on. He'll be on the road this week. This weekend, he's headed to Atlanta, comes back for a cup of coffee, then off to Houston for some Sound Mind, Sound Body camps. I'm sure we'll get some excellent content out of that. Steve, safe travels. Have a good one, Bucknutters.
Appreciate it, guys.